The sun beat down mercilessly on the dusty cricket pitch, casting long shadows across the parched ground. Priya, an 8-year-old Indian girl with medium brown skin and black braided hair, stood nervously at the edge of the field. Her white cricket jersey felt heavy on her shoulders as she watched her teammates warm up. The air was thick with excitement and the chatter of spectators who had gathered to watch the match. Priya's dark brown eyes darted back and forth, taking in the scene before her. She saw her friends, all dressed in similar white jerseys, laughing and joking as they practiced their swings. The cricket bat in her hand felt foreign and awkward, its weight unfamiliar to her small fingers. She had never batted in a real match before, and the thought of stepping up to the crease made her stomach churn with anxiety. "Priya! Come on, it's time to warm up," called out her coach, a tall man with graying hair and kind eyes. He beckoned her over to where the team was gathered. Priya took a deep breath, her chest rising and falling beneath her jersey, and slowly made her way towards her teammates. The sounds of their laughter and the crack of bat against ball grew louder as she approached. As Priya joined the group, she noticed the encouraging smiles on her friends' faces. Ananya, a girl with curly black hair and a sprinkle of freckles across her nose, gave Priya a gentle nudge. "You're going to do great, Priya," she whispered, her eyes shining with confidence. Priya managed a small smile in return, but the knot in her stomach only tightened. The coach gathered the team in a circle, his weathered hands gesturing as he spoke. "All right, team, today's the big day. Remember what we've practiced, and most importantly, have fun out there." His gaze settled on Priya, and he added softly, "Priya, you're up to bat third. Just do your best, okay?" Priya nodded, her braids bouncing slightly with the movement. As the team dispersed to take their positions, Priya found herself standing alone near the boundary line. She watched as the first two batters took their turns, her heart racing with each ball bowled. The crowd's cheers and groans washed over her like waves, making her feel small and insignificant. She gripped her bat tighter, her knuckles turning white beneath her brown skin. Before she knew it, it was her turn. "Priya, you're up," called the coach. With shaky legs, Priya made her way to the crease. The walk seemed to take forever, the dusty pitch stretching endlessly before her. She could feel all eyes on her as she took her position, her white jersey stark against the brown earth beneath her feet. The bowler, a tall boy with a mop of curly hair, eyed Priya with a mixture of curiosity and determination. He began his run-up, his feet kicking up small clouds of dust with each step. Priya's heart pounded in her ears as she watched the ball leave his hand, hurtling towards her at what seemed like impossible speed. Time seemed to slow down as the ball approached. Priya's mind raced, trying to remember all the tips and techniques she had learned during practice. She raised her bat, her arms trembling slightly with the effort. The ball connected with a resounding crack, and for a moment, Priya stood frozen in disbelief. The crowd erupted in cheers as the ball soared through the air. Priya's teammates jumped up and down, their white jerseys a blur of motion. "Run, Priya, run!" they shouted. Snapping out of her daze, Priya dropped her bat and sprinted towards the other end of the pitch, her braids flying behind her. As she reached the other crease, Priya turned to see the fielders scrambling after the ball. Her heart swelled with a mixture of pride and excitement. She had done it, she had actually hit the ball. The nervousness that had plagued her earlier began to melt away, replaced by a growing sense of confidence. The next few balls were a blur of action. Priya found herself settling into a rhythm, her movements becoming more fluid and natural with each swing. She managed to score several runs, much to the delight of her teammates and the spectators. The dusty pitch no longer seemed intimidating, but rather a stage for her newfound abilities. As Priya's time at bat came to an end, she walked back to her team with her head held high. Her white jersey was now smudged with dirt, a badge of honor from her time on the pitch. Her teammates surrounded her, patting her on the back and offering words of praise. "That was amazing, Priya. exclaimed Ananya, her eyes wide with admiration. The coach approached Priya, a broad smile on his face. "Well done, Priya," he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You showed real courage out there." Priya beamed up at him, her brown eyes shining with pride. She felt a warmth spreading through her chest, a feeling of accomplishment that she had never experienced before. As the match continued, Priya found herself eagerly watching her teammates' performances. She cheered loudly for each run scored, her voice joining the chorus of spectators. The nervousness that had once consumed her had transformed into excitement and team spirit. She felt truly part of something bigger than herself. During a break in the game, Priya's friends gathered around her, eager to hear about her experience. "How did it feel?" asked one boy with spiky black hair and glasses. Priya took a moment to consider before answering. "It was scary at first, but then it felt amazing." Her friends nodded in understanding, sharing their own stories of overcoming fears on the cricket pitch. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the field, the match drew to a close. Priya's team had put up a good fight, but in the end, they fell just short of victory. However, as they gathered in a circle for the post-match talk, there was no sense of disappointment among them. The coach looked at each of his players, his eyes lingering on Priya. "Today, we saw what it means to face our fears and give it our all," he said, his voice filled with pride. "Priya showed us that even when we're nervous, we can still achieve great things." Priya felt her cheeks grow warm at the praise, but she stood a little taller, her white jersey now a symbol of her courage. As the team began to disperse, heading towards their waiting parents, Priya found herself walking alongside Ananya. "You know," Ananya said, her curly hair bouncing as she walked, "I was really nervous my first time batting too." Priya looked at her friend in surprise. "Really?" she asked. Ananya nodded, "But look at us now. We're real cricketers." Priya's parents were waiting for her at the edge of the field, their faces beaming with pride. As she approached them, her father scooped her up in a big hug, not minding the dust that covered her jersey. "We are so proud of you, Beta," her mother said, smoothing Priya's braids. Priya hugged them back, feeling a sense of accomplishment that went beyond just playing cricket. As they walked home, the setting sun painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and pink, Priya reflected on the day's events. She had faced her fears, discovered a new passion, and learned an important lesson about courage. Her white cricket jersey, now dirty and wrinkled, felt like a second skin. Priya knew that the next time she stepped up to bat, she would do so not with fear, but with excitement and confidence. The dusty cricket pitch had become more than just a playing field, it was now a place where she had found her strength.